So that should be us. I'm pulling up the stats. My phone does not need to buzz like that. And yeah, now we're live. So because we just now went live, it takes a little bit of time for people to kind of come in and filter in. Um, I just wanted to say hello, everyone. Thanks for being here. We are a group live stream. We are all participants in Tarotopia, which is an event on Backerkit. We are all in one way or another diviners, tarot designers, writers, dreamers, oracle tool makers, whatever you'd like to call us. And we're all here to take part in Tarotopia, which is an event going on Backerkit crowdfunding right now. It is 13 different projects, 13 different creators all working at the same time to bring our projects to life. Hi, Onion. Welcome to the chat. And yeah, so not all 13 of us are here tonight or this morning or whatever time zone you happen to be in, but we do have 5 really awesome folks here with amazing projects. As of right now, 11 of 13 of the Tarotopia projects are funded. And I think that in the next week here, we're going to see the last 2 definitely reach their goals. So we would love to hang out with you for about an hour, maybe a little longer, depending on how much time I can steal from these lovely people. Um, and we're going to start off by kind of sharing a bit about our projects. So, number one, most important thing I need to just state is that we are not Backerkit representatives. None of us work at Backerkit. There is actually a Backerkit employee who has a project live on Tarotopia, and it's super awesome, so I'll shout that out when we get to it. But none of us are, so our views, our opinions are definitely like just our own. So if we're talking about Backerkit crowdfunding, things we really love, you're not just being gassed up by employees, okay? um, Other than that, when we do get to Frank's amazing project, the Vibrating Tarot, I do want to note that there is some not safe for work imagery. There's nothing I would say explicit going on, but there is many depictions of tools and toys that you might use in the bedroom. So, with that all being said, I would really like to hand off to Kelly to kind of talk a little bit about your project. Things that we'd really like to know and get to know about you is who you are, maybe how you got to this point that you're working on this kind of project, what you're making, what makes it special, and what kind of things are still ahead on your project. So,
Um,
yeah, take
Kelly,
us up.
my project is the butterfly, the flight of the butterfly tarot, and it's 78 cards. It's basic tarot. I've been reading for 40 years, and this is my 5th deck, and I'm really excited because it'll match the other 4, which are up there. And then it'll be like a book set case, and I'm really excited about that. And they're super high quality. Um, they have the fold over magnetic box with the ribbon. They have gilded edges. The stock is amazing. And
We love a
yeah,
ribbon.
I'm excited to be on the Backerkit. First time on Backerkit for sure.
How many crowdfunding projects have you done so far, Kelly?
Well, this is my 5th.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You wouldn't know it, but but yeah, this is my 5th. I've been really successful on a competitor's platform,
That's
and
okay. You can talk about it. Where else have you launched?
uh, so this one was new, and you guys really helped me through it because there's so much. Backerkit has so much stuff. It's really cool. Um, but it's also a lot for moi, right? So yeah. Um, so bright is my favorite color. And these are definitely bright. And all my decks are, that counting crow sound. And all my decks are. And what makes this one special is, well, all of my decks support pollinators and the education and conservation of bees. I have 3 bee decks. I have a Mystic Augur Sage one, which is kind of my shadow deck. And then this one is the Butterfly Tarot. And there's a pledge, one of the higher pledges that includes a $10 donation to the Xerces Society, xerces.org. So if you go check that out, you'll see the good stuff they're doing. So that's really important to me. That's one of my missions for my entire business. Also, um, this one has echoes of Psyche and Eros. And Psyche is the Greek word for soul, but it also means butterfly. And so woven throughout this project is their saga of the mortal and her relationship with Eros, and his mother is Aphrodite, and she's just I mean, she's the goddess of love, but she's got this dark side to her, which is really cool. It makes them like real people. And so I've interwoven this allegory of their of her journey, because it's like an inner pilgrimage. And so you have the option to either read it as conventional tarot or kind of mix that allegory in and kind of get deeper into a personal journey and a little more depth psychologically. Yeah. So,
I'm really loving
and
all
I
the
love it. You
colors. It
guys,
looks
you're going to
amazing.
love it. Please. I mean, you got to look at it. All of my decks. Yeah. Um, I make most of my rewards. That's what's really exciting. So, I do have the glow forge, so I do make the card stands right here,
Yeah.
and then I make you know,
Ooh.
the
Oh, can you show
bookmarks. I
us
also
that? That looked
the
so
bookmark.
intricate. Yeah, can you hold that up to the camera?
Can you see it?
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Yeah. So this one will be the butterfly, motif and stuff like that. And then I design fabric, so I make all of the reading cloths. So this is my fifth one, and then I back them with this really soft. This isn't the color. I get swatches and swatches and swatches. I have a darker color that's really cool. But yeah, so this is the butterfly mandala reading cloth
Oh, that's
um, that
awesome.
I'm really proud of this. And in the past, one time I had to sew 400 of them. So I won't have that problem this time, but that's okay. I'm ready for it. I'm always prepared.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I know that your partner project isn't here with us tonight to talk about their project, but do you want to share a little bit about what your cross collab item is?
Yeah, it's the Soul Care astrology, and she also has a lot of journals. Well, what's really good about her deck is that you pull a card and it's you can read it astrologically. And coordinate that with her days. And she has a astrology podcast, I think, and she's really has a good following on Instagram. And so these cards just generate that personality without her doing it in person. You can use her deck
No, I
to
love
um
that.
to do that. And it's really well made. It's beautiful. It's really a beautiful deck. And our cross collab is she's giving away an enamel pin with a moon and sparkles,
Mm-hmm.
and mine is the bookmark with as my collab thing. So if you support both of us, you get two of those little gifts. Yeah.
We love that. Well,
Yeah.
it's a super gorgeous deck. Do you have any stretch goal things that you are interested in reaching before we finish up in Tarotopia? I see rose
I didn't
gold
hear you any
gilding.
what?
I see rose gold gilding as one of your stretch goals. Um,
Yeah, because all my decks all have um like super high contrast, and they pop, and so the gilding is a real
ooh,
big part of my decks,
that's
as well
gorgeous.
as this just shuffle, and that has to be perfect, right?
Love
And the
it.
boxes have to be perfect.
They
So
do.
I
They
put a lot
do.
of time and energy into the packaging as well, because it's a feast for the eyes. You got to have that, right?
It is. So Kelly's deck, as you can see here on the stream, is at $13,486 of the $14,000 stretch or this 14,000 funding goal. So very very close to reaching funding. Just about $500. So hopefully, In this next week, we will have 13 out of 13 projects funded because your deck is super gorgeous. Definitely thank you so much for being here and sharing all the incredible work that you're doing because you have a bunch of decks. And I think that this was just another beautiful step on your journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun. This was a fun thing. Backerkit's fun.
Backerkit is fun. Alrighty. Frank, are you prepared to talk about your project a little?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us here together on this stream, and thanks for allowing me the space to talk about vibrating tarot.
This is our not
Um,
safe for work warning one.
yeah, this is the warning for everyone out there who might still be at work. Um, Vibrating Tarot is a pleasure product themed tarot deck. Basically, I had this idea. I use my dream work is a big component in what allows me to access my ideas. And one day, as I was falling asleep, I had this vision of a really popular and iconic pleasure product. And from what I understood this vision to be was I related it to the Lover's card in the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck. And this card has two figures standing on either side, and there's a main figure up in the sky. And this little pleasure product was up there with the sun blazing behind it. And I thought to myself, wow, that looks like the lover's card in this tarot deck that I use quite often. And I wrote my idea down. I had this idea years ago in 2017. And it went in my idea book, and it didn't go very much further than that for a long time. But when the pandemic hit and we were all in lockdown, I was looking for a new project to work on, and I came across this idea that I had years ago. I said, I think now's the time to move forward with it. A lot of people are going to be stuck at home. A lot of people are going to have that alone time, and perhaps now is the right time to sink my teeth into this new project. And so I started putting some of my ideas up online, and to my great surprise, there was a really good response to it. But I knew that the key to making this idea work and to have it be a viable, project, perhaps in the marketplace, far beyond crowdfunding, would be for me to approach all of these brands and make sure that I had proper licensing in place because I didn't want to use anyone's intellectual property without their permission. And so like I said, I started working on this in 2020. It took 5 years to get to where we are today. Um, it was a combination of putting the artwork together, doing the research on the industry, because I come to this project from a divination and a tarot and a design background. I really didn't know too much at all about the pleasure product industry itself when I started. So there was a lot to learn about what I had just begun. But I knew that if I got a lot of the big names in the industry involved, that the project would be a success because I feel that a lot of people out there, they're already familiar with these brands and they have a tremendous love for these products that bring love into their lives. And I thought that the love that they have for the product would transfer to the love that they would have for my tarot deck, which would be depicting all of them. And it was daunting. There was a lot of anxiety when I would reach out to some of these brands and say, "Hey, I'm, you know, just an artist out there in the world, and I had this idea, and I want to depict your really well-loved, iconic pleasure product in this very small grassroots project." And, I thought that they would laugh me out of the room. I thought that they would say, go take a hike. But it wasn't like that at all. It was a journey filled with acceptance, embrace of my new idea. And once I did start to get some of those bigger names on board, there was a tipping point. And then brands started to reach out to me saying, we're aware of what you're doing and we want to be involved as well because we feel you're doing important work.
Oh, really?
And
They were reaching out to you.
yeah, Yeah, absolutely. They were. A lot of brands that I didn't even know about started following me online, and that's how I found out a lot about a lot of them in that way. Um, I'm from Canada. I'm from the Toronto area. There's a really great company up in Ottawa called, well, they one of their brands is called We Vibe. They're under the Love Honey Group company, and they invited me to come to a trade show in California just on account of the work that I was doing because they saw that I was, you know, making some progress, but somebody in that company recognized that with a little bit more exposure right in front of the people who are industry leaders, I might be able to make a lot more progress at a quicker rate. And so they had me fly down to California. I was right in the middle of this amazing industry trade show, and I was the new guy in the room. And they were all coming up to me saying, we know about you, we know about your project, and we want to be involved. And being there allowed me to make those personal connections with people in the industry that I had already been chatting with, and I moved the project in tremendous ways as a result of attending that trade show. And then I
That's amazing.
attended additional trade shows after that, and even in 2025, now, with crowdfunding upon us,
Hmm.
it's really important for me to stay in focus and in front of everybody, and to not let this project fall to the backs of people's minds. So another really great company, a lubricant company called Uberlube, invited me to attend the same trade shows here in 2025, and so I've been busy, but it's been great. I want to stress that the vibrating tarot deck, it for sure breaks the ice with its, grabs people's attention. There's some humor in it. People, I think,
For
get
sure.
a little chuckle out of it initially because they see that these pleasure products are replacing the people and the iconic imagery in the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck.
Hmm.
Um, but I wanted it to be really quite a bit deeper than that. Um, I wanted for this to be an authentic tarot deck with maturity, integrity. I wanted it to be a real tool of divination. And so I've spent these years making the right connections with the right brands, placing specific products on specific cards so that the product itself was speaking to the meaning of the card and vice versa. Not that it was just like some random product put on some random card in the deck, but that there is rhyme and reason behind every decision. And that, I think, was recognized and appreciated.
Oh,
Um,
definitely.
and I never wanted the tarot deck to just be low brow, or for it to just be an elaborate joke. And so I poured a lot of research and time and energy and passion into making those right connections and making sure that the imagery was as meaningful as possible. And I think a lot of people connect with it. They see that it is something that you can learn a lot about yourself through, and you learn about the other people that you allow into your weird little world. And you break the ice, you start the types of conversations that lead far deep into yourself and into the people around you. And that's the whole basis of the tarot deck is to learn about yourself, learn about those around you, strengthen those connections, have fun doing it. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I know that's amazing. Everyone can see on screen here that we are very funded on this project. The goal was 11,000 Canadian dollars. It's at 14,947. And as I was showing on the stretch goals here, it looks like we are probably going to get close to, if definitely not reach, that second stretch goal of a colored guidebook cover. So that's super amazing. Thanks so much for sharing that project with us. I think that you're completely right. It could have been a lowbrow, very silly kind of project for a lot of people, like a novelty gag that you get, but it's not that. It's very clear from all the stuff that you have on this campaign page, like how much time was spent in it. And licensing that many unique products from unique companies is really impressive. Having
It
done a
was
lot of licensing myself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And in fact, I do have to say that your Man's Tarot deck was incredibly inspirational to me because I looked at you, I bought your deck, and I saw the amazing response you got. And I said to myself, if this can happen, my idea can happen. It's just a matter of being patient. It's about being authentic. It's about reaching out and making connections with the right people and
Definitely.
being vulnerable, putting yourself on the line, but having a worthwhile project that people can rally behind. And a lot of the people in the industry have come to support me, and a lot of people in the tarot and divination communities have come together. So it's been a really wonderful trip.
No, it's so awesome. Thanks so much. Um,
Thank you.
Annie, are you prepared and readied?
Yes. Thank you for having me. So my name is Annie. I'm part owner of Unfazed Games. My project is Scales of Influence. It's a tarot-based board game that uses the Traveler's Tarot deck. So it's custom made for both divination and gameplay. In Scales of Influence, you are given a secret identity. And so you have either the light or the shadow force. You're trying to tip a balance scale in your favor to get 10 energy before the neutral player can balance it out. So you use a 7-8 card tarot deck, all have different abilities, and you play your cards into the reading. So it's kind of like a group reading that will occur. Some cards will be shooting stars and happen instantly, and a lot of them have you choose another player. So you want to be mindful of who you're trusting in the game. But it's also custom made for divination. So you can buy it as a playable game or just the tarot deck alone. And the Traveler's Tarot, it is renamed from the traditional Rider-Waite deck to have a little bit more diverse and kind of inclusivity with it. So all the cards are unique. They are based on the elements. So the 4 elements are the suits. And then the court system is adapted to be based on the Myers-Briggs 16 personality types. So the page, knight, queen, and king are now different stages of life. So I wanted it to have a little bit kind of unique and different and bridge both board gaming and tarot together.
That's awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about your funding, any stretch goals you've got going on?
Yeah, so really grateful that we reached our funding goal. Currently, we this is our first for our tarot project. Kind of, just getting more backers and grateful for the support. We have the Seeker tier that has 9 available left. And that one has the full game. If you get that tier, it comes with a working scale and a tarot reading. So we just have a few of those left.
Oh, that's awesome. And receive the Visionary Edition with a 30-minute virtual reading. I do love that. I we'll talk later about virtual readings. I have always been really hesitant of doing readings on my Kickstarters or Backerkits or anything like that. Can you tell us a little bit about why Backerkit? Like, what are you doing over here? What's the Topia for you?
Yeah, so the company wanted to do Tarotopia. We just finished being a part of Pocketopia, where we had our game Duot successfully funded. It was a really great experience. We really love the collab partner aspect of it and the collective kind of energy of everyone together. So for Scales of Influence and Traveler's Tarot, it was a little earlier than I wanted to actually crowdfund. I initially wanted all the artwork to be done. We still
Mm.
have 22 things kind of in development. So I was a little hesitant to launch at this time, but because I had heard about the Teratopia, I decided to go a little bit earlier than planned to be able to be a part of it. And it's been a really great experience.
Ooh, yeah. Tell us about your cross collab element here. I'm seeing some really pretty things going on between you and your partner.
Yeah, so my partner is Paragon Tarot deck. It is a D&D inspired deck, which I felt was really aligned for us as well. And so they are creating a stained glass enamel pin, which I've never really seen before, but they do some really great work with that. And so they took the imagery from scales, which is the illusion pin. In traditional tarot, it's the moon. And it's just the way the light hits it, it's going to be really interesting and fun. And then for my collab like item, I'm going to make a custom card that will get added into the game, and it's the Justice card from their deck. So that will be exclusive to Backerkit people that
Oh, that's really pretty. No, I'm looking at them right now. We can see them up on the screen for anyone watching the stream. The stained glass pin has the water, like the river or the lake here, and some of the skyline as stained glass. So the way it works is on an enamel pin, they just leave out the metal backing for portions, and then the enamel just sits on that, and it's kind of see through. It lets the light in. It looks super gorgeous, and the Justice card looks fantastic. That's super fun. So tell us a little bit about your role with the business here. Who are you?
So this is kind of my little baby project. It's been in development for 3 years. I'm mostly a board gamer and a tarot reader. I do events out where I live in Hawaii. So I've been in both worlds, and I initially had the idea from the scales of justice and kind of a playable game that kind of you're interacting with that scale. Initially, the game started with angels and demons, and I didn't feel entirely aligned with that. And then about a year into the project, I was playing it with some friends, and just it felt like a tarot reading. Receiving, you start off the game with 3 cards, and I just was very mindful of it. Kind of they had similar tarot names, but wasn't the actual deck. And
Mm-hmm.
so from there, I went into complete development and research. It's been a year kind of custom making this own deck where each one was intentionally designed, and I've done all the art direction for it. We have 13 artists from around the world. So I wanted it to be a platform for them for their creativity and kind of a different approach. Um, and so it's been me, and then I have 2 business partners, and we go to different board game conventions and um, started about a year ago, kind of with the intention of having high quality games and decks that bring people together.
Well, it's definitely a gorgeous looking project. I really love the board element here. I'm like really scrolling through the page here and seeing all the board game elements and how like super lovely they look. So wonderful job preparing it. This project had a $5,000 goal, and we are at $6,356. So very much funded. Um, and it looks like everything that you were going to put on here is here. So anyone who is interested in a tarot board game, this is ready for you. One of the people watching did mention like there are some really unique themes for these projects. They are incredibly different, very quickly project to project. And that's super true. We definitely have like a gorgeous fantasy element going on here. And surprisingly, no one else is here is necessarily doing that. We have mythology, we have butterflies, we have pleasure products, which is the word that I now know. So, Cage, would you like to be up next and tell us a little bit about your project?
Maybe. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I switched my mic over. So hi. Yeah, so I'm doing the Midnight Ocean Tarot. And yeah, I don't know. So I wanted to do something different. So we went for deep sea creatures that are specifically past the point of the ocean where the light reaches. So I kind of gave myself a narrow band to work with. And it is both a major, sorry, Arcana deck and a set of enamel pins. And yeah, we reached a certain funding goal, and I was like, okay, well, I was joking. I said to my partner, I'll add the minor Arcana if we get to 10K. And then we reached 10K in a week, and I was like, oh Oh my goodness. This is my first tarot project, and I was like, I'll just do something simple, just dip my toes in the water, you know. Our initial goal was quite low, and I wasn't intending to do anything fancy. And then it's gone beyond anything I had planned. We have the full 22 pin set unlocked, which is crazy, and
I mean, they're gorgeous designs.
yeah.
I'm showing them here on the stream for everyone as I'm scrolling through your page. Um, is there a particular design here that really speaks to you, pin or card, that maybe is like your big favorite?
It's really hard to say because I've spent so long working on them. I like them all and hate them all for different reasons. I really like. I love the crab, but then I look at it and remember the amount of hours I put into those tiny dots.
Yeah.
Or like the gulper eel is everyone's favorite. Everyone I show, they all go, "Oh, I really love that gulper eel." But I had to redo the fin line about 100 times because they weren't lining up. Like the parallels weren't right, so the taper wasn't correct,
Oh
and I'm like, "Oh
no.
God."
So you were saying that all of the pins have been unlocked. So I guess I'm right now I'm scrolling through what the stretch goals used to be, right? Do you have any stretch goals remaining?
No.
No.
Um, I, s- I said if we reached a certain point, I'd look at doing a guidebook, but because I haven't done much tarot and I haven't participated in a lot of tarot, I'm not sure if I'm fully confident in writing something like that.
Mm.
So I feel like I would need to find somebody who is willing to work with me. Um, I, you know, we put a lot of work into choosing which design went with which card, because I really wanted it to have meaning beyond like here's a fish, here's a card, you know. And I just really want it to come across like the most respectful way possible. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. So,
Um,
do you have background in tarot at all?
Not for a really long time.
Mm.
When I was much younger, I was way more connected with things like that, but a lot of stuff has happened since then, and I've kind of this is kind of a reconnection, you could say.
Yeah, I think that's
I
awesome. What was
didn't
the
expect
impetus
it
behind
to.
that? What kind of drew you back to doing this kind of project?
So we did Pintopia earlier in the year, and when we did Pintopia, people were talking about, well, the next one after that's Pocketopia, and then it's Tarotopia. And I was like, well, I've always wanted to do a tarot deck for whatever reason, and I knew I wanted this particular color palette, and I knew the kind of aesthetic I wanted. And my partner, who is the one who is really big on we did sea slugs for Pentopia, and she was very enthusiastic. And she was like, "Well, now you need to do deep sea stuff." And I'm like, "What?" So yeah, when I was talking about it, anyway, coming back around to it, when I was talking about it, I was going, "Oh, we could do something for Tarotopia." She started sending me all these YouTube videos. She's like, "Have you seen this big fin squid?" And I'm like, "What is a big fin squid?" So I go on there, and it's like this the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And she's like, "You should do one of those." And I'm like, "Fine." 2 days later, she's like, "Oh, well, have you seen the gulper eel?" And I'm like, "No." So she just, I think, through that level of enthusiasm, I'm like,
You were coaxed,
"Fine."
coaxed into doing it.
Yeah.
Um,
My one condition was that she helped me figure out which creature went with which assignment. So we've
True.
spent the last month debating what matters with what. And it's been a lot of fun.
I do have one question about the minor arcana. You've unlocked it. It was your 10,000 goal. What will the minor arcana be? Is it going to be pip cards? Are there going to be additional animals that you're picking from the sea? What's the approach, do you think?
Yeah, so for each suit, I'm going to pick one animal.
Okay.
So, for example, I know that one of them will be the lanternfish.
Ooh, that's a good
And
one.
then, yeah, and there's quite a lot of different kinds of lanternfish as well. So for each of the numbered cards, there'll be a number of lanternfish on the card. And then I haven't quite decided for the court cards. I had a really good suggestion that I changed the background to sort of suggest. My partner was joking. I was like, I don't know how to do this. And she was like, just put tiny crowns on them.
Just
I'm
the
like,
smallest crown upon the
I
fish.
can't do that. But one of the backers suggested we could do that, but with like scenery, like background, like I don't want to say bubbles, but
Oh,
like
yeah, you could do like coral or some kind of reef rock element behind them that makes a crown shape.
yeah. So
That's a
we're gonna
really
look
cool
at something
idea.
like that.
Someone in the
Uh,
chat did just say, I love the recently revealed ghost shark. Probably my favorite so far.
Thank you.
Well,
Uh, I
yeah.
did it without. Oh, sorry.
No,
Yeah,
you're good.
yeah. I forgot to add that. So ghost sharks have a lot of markings on their face, and I forgot to add them. And I showed it to my partner. She's like, "You can't send it. It's not done." I'm like, "Why is it done?" She's like, "You've got to put the markings on the face."
The markings on the face, they're
Uh,
very important.
so it's quite a high standard.
Well, thanks so much for sharing your project. As everyone who's watching the stream just saw, there's lots of gorgeous enamel pin designs. It's one of those things where I'm always really scared of doing enamel pins for like tarot things because I'm worried I have to do every single card, which is so many. I
Yeah.
know that
See,
some of the people here know about that.
I wasn't gonna do every single one. I was like, oh, I'll just do it for a few cards. And then the, the total kept going up, and I was like, I need two more. I need two more.
Oh no, I have
And
to
we
do
somehow
more.
ended up with all of them.
You know what? It's a good problem to have, I think.
It's true. It's crazy.
Well, uh, I'm the last one, so I'll pop through mine real quick because I think that we might have a little more fun chatting together. So I am doing the Goblin's Oracle Dice. I am 7. I am the publishing goblin. Um, most of my business seems to revolve around divination tools anymore. I'm an independent publisher of kind of whatever I happen to be working on. I should mark my time so that I know not to talk too long. Right now, the Goblin's Oracle Dice are on their 3rd edition here on Backerkit's Tarotopia. This is the final edition. It doesn't mean they won't be made again. It just, they won't be changed again in the future. I've finally settled into exactly how they should be. The Oracle Dice are a 22 dice Oracle set that you use similar to Charm or Bone Casting, maybe. There's the original set, which was available in the 1st and 2nd editions, and it's now called the Season set. And there is a new 22 dice set called the Keykeeper set. They come with their dice. They come in a lovely box, which is new. I was told not very long ago by a lot of backers that they had their 2nd edition sets in the box that I shipped it in because I did not provide a box for my set. So I was like, okay, well, that's fair. So now there's a box that holds everything. It's a magnet closed box. I know Kelly knows about magnet closed boxes. You were showing us a lovely one. They are just a delightful way to store things. They come with a guidebook and they come with a 2-sided reading grid. Each set has its own unique 2-sided reading grid. I have like 1,000,001 videos on the campaign page now that show you the dice in action. I've been doing a lot of live streams to show how they work and take people's questions kind of just right then and there on the live stream. So anything that you're curious about with the Goblin's Oracle Dice, you can kind of hop on the project page, and I did my best to break it all down. There's also an exciting new chest, which I wish I could show you, but my manufacturer has not actually sent it to me yet. It is a modified jewelry box that can fit all of the items from your set, as well as any extra items you get. It has space for 4 tarot decks in one of the drawers. all of your dice up on the top shelf, which has a glass lid so you can see them. And if you get the wooden boxes that you can fit the dice into, like this guy here. Oh, this one's heavy, so this is accidentally the stone set. Um, if you have these for your two sets, these actually fit into the modified jewelry chest that we've got going. So everything you buy from the Oracle dice can fit into this magical chest. Otherwise, Cage, who just shared the project Midnight Ocean, is actually my collab partner. So if I can click on this enough times to actually get down to the collab section, Cage and I both are doing enamel pins as our collab bonus. So if you back both of us for physical items, you get a really adorable Cage. What is the actual fish?
It's a gulper eel.
It's a gulper eel, but it's so small and it's eating a die, and it turns out dice are super big compared to this tiny little guy. So his whole body is just kind of dice shaped, which is really cute. And I'm doing this enamel pin of the publishing goblin with magical aura above the head and lots of dice floating. So absolutely come check out the Oracle dice. There's so many dice, 44 dice, and they're all waiting for you. All right. So that was all of our projects. There are many projects besides. So actually, before we move on and just kind of chat, I do just want to shout out, because there's just two projects that aren't quite funded. Kelly is right here. We went through the project a bit. But Kelly's incredible, the Flight of the Butterfly tarot deck. I'm just going to scroll through here one more time. A reminder that links are in the description for the video. You can absolutely go straight to our pages right now and pledge. This is a super gorgeous deck. And Kelly, you said your favorite color was bright, and it really shows through here. So I just really want to shout it out because we love that. And actually, the Moon Care Oracle deck is the only other project that hasn't quite reached the funding goal, and I really want to help push it that way. So this is Soul Care Astrology. Kelly actually talked about her a little bit. This is Kelly's partner project, and it's a really gorgeous deck here. You can see on the stream right here. Here's a layout of them around a crystal, a geode. It's just a really lovely deck. So definitely go give them a look. And if you have the time, space, energy, and money, take a look at all 13 of the projects that are here, because not everyone could be here today for a million reasons, mostly probably time zone stuff. But with that all said, I will change us over to our group chat. So now it's just us. Everyone unmute, join us. How are we feeling? How are we feeling about Backerkit? How are we feeling about Tarotopia?
It's been good. Hasn't it been good for everyone? I'm so glad to be part of this community funding all of our projects at the same time.
Yeah.
It's encouraging, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The Topias are really unique. It's a Backerkit unique kind of deal where they pick a theme of projects that might run, and then a bunch of creators can launch at the same time. We have cross collaborative incentives, and something I didn't shout out that maybe I should have is that Backerkit themselves are part of it in a way. If you back 4 or more projects, you do get a free tarot cloth from them. And that's just something that they're doing completely extra. Like, they have no reason to be doing that, but they are. So it's a really great supportive space.
Yeah, I have to say Jason is really nice as well. The guy who sort of runs a lot of the Topia stuff.
Yeah, shout
I
out to
think
Jason Fury.
somebody else is also working on the Tarotopia specifically.
Yeah, we've
But
got a
I
bunch
know,
of
I
different
know.
people supporting us here. I'm like trying to pull up things on an extra screen, but I have 4 different screens to look at. And most of them are involved in the streaming. So I am so sorry if we're missing anyone who's been helping with Tarotopia Backerkit, but we really appreciate you guys setting this up for us and helping us along. It's super awesome.
I will say the platform has been really easy to use for kind of the first time crowdfunding. So really grateful for Backerkit and all the support and the collective aspect of having Utopia. It's been really fun.
think it's super neat to like pick a collab partner and like try to work together to make something together. I think the cross collab incentives are always really fun for me, where I'm like, what are we gonna do? How am I gonna emulate you, or how are you gonna emulate me? How do we do this? Does anyone have any maybe thoughts on kind of the themes we're seeing in this Tarotopia? I was really impressed how little overlap there was. I know that some people come to Topias and they're a little overwhelmed because there's a lot of projects, and some of them might even have aesthetic similarities. But I really feel like here we have like a pretty good disparate grouping of looks and aesthetics for all the projects. Hi, Bird Nest. Welcome in. We do have a bundle of people hanging out in the chat. If any of you have questions, we're happy to take them. Otherwise, we'll probably hang out and chat a little bit about Tarotopia, Backerkit, our projects, for about another 15-20 minutes. As long as people are allowed with their schedules. I know many of you have important places to be, such as bed, if you are in the UK, Cage.
Does everyone have their decks?
Oh yeah, I've got
Can we
my...
pull a card? Let's pull a card.
Oh, heck yeah. There you go.
I only have one.
That's
That's the
perfect.
pull.
That's the pull.
That's it.
I've got my dice kind of hidden, so I'm going to grab a random die and just roll it.
A die.
Oh yeah. We've got Celestial, which is basically, it's like the star in tarot from the summer die.
Okay.
What do you got, Kelly?
Ooh, I got the Queen of Swords.
Oh yeah.
I'm told that I'm the Queen of Swords a lot. But because I'm an Aquarius, and my deck and fits right into where she rules, and so she's been and I do have that personality a little bit, straightforward, no BS,
No
and
BS.
but I'm also very open, and I do have that sensitive. So she has that sensitive shadow also side to her. So whereas the really like the Queen of Cups is more, she's on the front end. She has brightness, and then her shadow is really her shadow. So yeah, that's the Queen
I love it. It's so
of
pretty.
Swords.
Frank, do you have a deck on hand?
Yeah, I'd like to share the Lover's card because this was the whole,
Oh yeah.
this was what started it all here. Um, so this is the We Vibe Chorus. It is a couple's pleasure product, and it is up there in the sky with the sun behind it. And like I said, this card was sort of just came to me in a dream state as I was falling asleep, and I had to put it into words, and then I put it into a visual thing where I saw it on paper. And I knew that from that moment forward that if I could create this one card, if I put my energy to it, I could create a whole deck. And so this is what started it all.
That's awesome. Annie, do you happen to have a deck on hand?
I don't have my deck. I'm waiting to get it back to manufacturer. But I kind of like took a second to think about what card kind of resonated, came to mind, and the fighter card in my deck is one that, for whatever reason, wants to come to life a little more. The artwork was done by this talented artist, Mona, and just it really resonates with me kind of every time I come back to the project and I am in kind of a hesitative phase, I remind myself of that card. So it means a lot to me. That is one that is done, and you can see it on the project page.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous. We flipped through your whole deck that you had on the campaign while you were chatting. So if you haven't seen it, go take a look. You can go straight to the project even. We would love that. Cage, you said you had one card, right?
Yeah,
Draw it.
unfortunately my
Shuffle
so
it.
it's the
Shuffle it.
tower card. I could shuffle it into itself because I have 20 copies of the same one. Um, but it's still the tower card. Um,
Perfect.
when I got the because it's a hollow promo test card, I had
Ooh.
the Gulpy eel on it. But I've actually changed it since to the oarfish, and it's yeah, they're shiny, but I'm not good at reading. I don't know. Is
That's
that good
okay.
or bad?
I'm thinking so much about what the oarfish would do as the tower. And that's interesting because it's just super long, right? I mean, that's one of the big things about the oarfish. It's just like this long oblong sphere. And the tower doesn't have to be
Yeah,
bad. It's just huge change. Sometimes cataclysmic, but big. And that can be
that's
good.
why.
Sometimes you need it.
So my partner is much better at this than me. That's why it's her job. But the oarfish in particular is often seen as like you see it preceding a lot of big events, especially like underwater earthquakes and things.
Right. Because they come to the
Um,
surface when there's big change or stuff happening, right?
exactly, and there's quite a lot of legends
Yeah.
about predicting big
Oh, that's
events.
cool. I hadn't thought about that. That's really good. Kelly, we do have a question for you from B&W 1024. I have a question for Kelly. What drew you to the myth of Psyche and Eros?
Oh, well, I hadn't done the deck on it yet. No, I'm like a bibliophile and I have huge collections of books and I was I've okay. Mostly you do hear about Hecate and Persephone and those are like these characters that are usually front and center. And I wanted to do another pollinator deck and I was like, there's a Carl Jung, there's something about it. And I just started, oh, Psyche, he uses that term, and Psyche means butterfly. And I was like, this is just magic because I was going to do a pollinator deck. Psyche means soul, which would be the perfect fool card,
Oh, yeah.
right? And because she's taking that leap and she has this pilgrimage, inner pilgrimage, and I just wanted to, match them up. And I looked at it and it came together, it came together. Some of the minors are a little stretched, but you can find it. And that's the thing about it. And the fact that it's another pollinator um, deck allows me to do the donation and stuff like that. So Eros, what really fascinating, he's Cupid, right? And he's the god of love, and he, shot people with his arrows. But his mom is Aphrodite, and his dad is Aries, which is Mars and Venus, in the Roman. And but he's the god of love. And so there's that passionate side that he gets from his dad. And then there's that love that he gets from a mom. But Aphrodite has this really dark side too. She's super jealous and she causes all this mayhem and really puts um, Psyche through this. When she takes that leap, she has to do like impossible tasks that Aphrodite put her through. She has to go to the river Styx and bring back water, and she has to go and shear some fur off of an animal, and then also collect all this grain, things that were seemingly impossible. But because she was so well liked, other entities, deities, and forest friends came and they helped her, and she achieved everything. So it was very collaborative the way she accomplished her actions, and no one said she couldn't have friends help her. Um, so that's I mean, is that
Yeah.
I kind of went on a tangent. I always go on tangents. You just kind of have to go.
No, 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 no. It's great. I think that especially because the basis of your deck was mythology, it was inevitable that we'd get to the point where you were going to be your excited mythological child. Like, I need to talk about this. I need to get this out there. I need people to know. It's important. And we have a guest cat again. Here is Tom Bombadil, come to visit. Frank, I do want to mention, just because when you were holding up the Lover's card, someone in the chat did point it out and go, that's such a cool image for the Lover's card. So I want you to know that you were
Thank you.
appreciated by the
Thank you very
viewers.
much. Thanks. I appreciate that.
I also wanted to ask a little generally for everyone, just because this is something that I've been thinking a lot lately as a creator. Um, how much will there be availability? Uh-oh, the chat caught up to the cat approaching. Sigh. He steals the show every time. He shows up and everyone's so excited. I wanted to ask kind of how many extra decks do you all think you're going to do? Do you think you're going to have a wide reaching distribution later? Are you going to have a bunch extra in stock to offer online? Or is this kind of like the moment to hop on board? Annie, if you want to start, just because you're in the top left on my screen.
So the plan for this project, because we're releasing both the deck and the game, the Visionary will only be for Backerkit, so that working scale will just be exclusive, that tier. For the
Mm,
decks, we plan to have, haven't decided how many, kind of getting a gauge, but plan to put in distribution. We've had over the course of years, people have been asking to have it. So excited to kind of get them released. Same with the game. We plan to bring it to Gen Con if people are familiar. It will be there this year and other board game conventions. So
absolutely. Frank, you're next on my video.
Okay, so I always had the intention of going as far with this tarot deck as I possibly could. And I truly believe that I'm 5 years into designing it and we're bringing it to life right now. But I really, in a lot of ways, feel like I'm just at the beginning because I want to get this deck of cards into retail environments,
Mm-hmm.
adult pleasure, adult retailers, as well as, you know, metaphysical and spiritual shops. Um, Bookstores and gift shops, I feel that there's a lot of reach. These crossroads that I've brought together here, the pleasure product industry is booming. It is, a lot of the taboos been torn down throughout the years, and a lot more people are comfortable looking at these types of images and talking and being open about it. And then at the same time, because I think, you know, for from creators like ourselves, bringing tarot itself and divination into the mainstream, tarot itself is experiencing a resurgence that it hasn't seen in decades.
Oh,
And
definitely.
being right at the crossroads of these two worlds, I do believe that they go together. Spirituality and sexuality have probably gone together far longer than we can ever give credit for. Far further back into the past than we can even imagine. And I believe that I brought those two themes together. And so I see this tarot deck being available in a lot of different shops. I'd like to work with distributors, and like I've explained, some of these trade shows that I've gone to. I've met with a lot of distributors in the adult retail space, and I feel like I have a good start as far as that's concerned. And what I'm learning more about now are the distributors in the tarot and divination industry.
Mm.
And so we're going to print a certain amount of cards that will fulfill the crowdfunding donate, purchases that have been made through the crowdfunding. And we're going to print even more that I'm hoping that I can get into distributors' hands because they know all of the different retail outlets out there. And I'm hoping that they can get this deck of cards to a lot of different retail outlets, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Heck yeah. Kelly, before I give it to you, congratulations, you funded.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You guys are
That's great.
magical. Thank you. I
Congratulations.
do. Yay.
I just
Yay.
looked over at yours to pull yours up, and yeah, you are funded.
Oh, I want to cry.
So tell us,
This
with
has
all of
been
your money.
Now, this has been a real challenge for me, this one. I'm not sure why. I'm not particularly, I don't really need to look into it now that it's funded. But um yeah, I was scrambling to get it done for Terratopia, but I'm gonna go big. I mean, I always go big and I like to, I mean, pallets come in, right?
Hmm.
And I my distributor in the Netherlands, Tarot NL, he's already asked for them. He wants to buy them in more decks, and I'm like, you can't buy them yet.
They're not here yet. Wait.
Yeah. So I was trying to, the big thing for me was all of a sudden we had this EU um, challenge, right?
Hmm.
So just today, or no, it was last night, I said, I know how to do it. I know what I'm going to do. I know how to label it. I just have to find my person, my responsible person. And I opened it up to my my EU friends because it's a big market for me.
Heck yeah.
So that was a point of contention. So I want to go big, and I'll probably just get the Gilded Edges no matter what, because I can't live without them. It has to be that way. So, that, well, it has to happen.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I go as big. I'm on the second printing and on a couple of the decks. So um, I want this one to be as successful, and I want them just to be together and sit together on the. I also have a box that I make in house that has, it fits three of the decks, but now I have five, and I think the five is too big. So now they're just
No, no,
gonna,
no, no. Now you just got to make a bigger box.
oh, yeah, then ship it.
Yeah, I have
The
been
ship,
down
they're
that road.
heavy. That is one thing. These decks are heavy. They weigh 15.5 ounces. And so by the time I mail them, they're a pound.
Yeah,
And that's when the postage goes up,
that is so
right?
true.
Um, at a pound, at 16.1 ounces, it's like all of a sudden it goes up. But there's some special ways I can get around that for sure. It's just, it's crazy that they're that heavy. Yeah.
Well, congrats. I'm excited to know that you're going to go big. So there's going to be plenty of decks. So if people don't make it on the crowdfunding campaign, like they're going to be here, right? Right?
Yeah, don't drop. You guys don't drop.
Don't drop.
Don't drop your pledges. Yeah. It'll be uh if it's not big, it'll be whatever we're funded at. I
Yeah.
can't do, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's small, there's always a second chance, right? To
Oh,
to
yeah.
reprint.
There
Yeah.
always is. Uh,
That's publishing, right?
it really is. And, I think that that's one of those things that you were just noting that I think a lot of us are definitely feeling in the small creative space, that things right now are a little smaller than maybe they are in other times. We're facing some, particular economic and political difficulties at the moment, but we're all here. Everyone here is funded right now, which is awesome. We've made it. Cage, how many enamel pins are you going to have? Because you're doing 22 designs, 23 because of our collab. How many pins do you typically order? Because you're going to have to do a lot of them this time.
Yeah. So we're tiny. Um, and my space is tiny. So this is gonna be a lot of fun. It's the 22 card pins. Then there's the cross collaboration pin,
Mm-hmm.
the freebie mini pin, the creator mini pin, and then the mini pin I had for sale. So, oh God, how many is that? 25,
That's
26
that's
pins.
25 or 26. Yeah, you're going to be
Yeah.
surrounded by boxes in your home.
And
Then the
we have
decks.
we got 275 backers, but I won't order 275 of each pin, but that's a lot. I've had a surprising amount of people who've bought the full set. Um, so yeah,
Wow.
there's just gonna be pins everywhere. We had a lot of designs for Pintopia as well, so I'm like drowning in pins. Um,
Yeah.
we
Gosh.
don't have an online store, so I'll only be getting the minimum amount of decks that my supplier will send me. So they probably won't be for sale again before next year.
Gotcha. So if people want to grab Cage's deck, now's the only time, at least for the foreseeable future. Good to
Yeah,
know.
until we move and get set up.
Well, everyone, I don't want to keep everyone for too long. We are after the hour mark. Congrats on being funded, Kelly. I am excited to be the one to let you know because that was exciting. Um, but yeah, thanks everyone for being here. Thanks everyone who's been in the chat, who's been watching on all the different places. I only get to see the YouTube count, which shows people watching it on YouTube. But everyone who's on any of our campaign pages has also been watching. So thanks everyone for being here. Tarotopia continues on for another 9 days. We end on the 22nd. I know some of you are already in the future. For Cage, it's like 2 a.m. on the 14th. Thank you for being here, by the way. And we are
Thank you.
at 12 of 13 projects funded. So I think it's definitely time that everyone goes and takes a look at the Moon Care Oracle and just drop a little money, drop a little support. One of the things that a lot of us creators have done is we've backed each other's projects for at least $1 or two, just to make sure our follower base gets to see these other projects. I know that I've backed, I think, every single project at one of those tiers. And I think over the next week will be my time to go through and be like, all right, which of these am I backing for a full deck? How much can I afford to fill out my tarot collection? But thank you, everyone, for joining me and hanging out.
And thanks so much.
Yeah,
I
thanks
love
for having us.
you.
Thanks for organizing this. You're the one behind this live stream, Seven. So from all of us, thank you very much.
Thank you. Wouldn't have happened if none of you had shown up. It would have been a lonely time with just me.
You're a pro. You could have just like run through.
Maybe. Oh, Kelly, thanks. Kelly says the congrats on funding your project. And so does B&W. Everyone's very excited. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a absolutely lovely night or a lovely morning or a lovely sleep time, I imagine, for some of you as the time draws closer and closer to midnight. And go out, get more tarot in your life. Now is the time.